girls, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is really exciting. I haven't done a sit-down video in a long time. And today I wanted to talk about my January favorites, reflections, depth year, updates, all of that. So this is going to be a long video, so grab a snack, grab something to drink while we sit here and talk about favorites. I really like the way that Lisa Pepez does her reflection videos at the end of every month, and so it's going to kind of be like that. I'm first going to talk about an update on my depth year, all of that, talk about memories, kind of what happened this month, and then we're going to go into my favorites. So the first thing right off the bat that I want to talk about is that in January we moved to our new home. It was actually at the very end of December that we made our move. It was the 30th. And so this is our first month in our new home. We live in the middle of the forest. It is so magical. I don't have any neighbors super close by. We're really like in the middle of nowhere. You have to drive like an hour for a grocery store, all of that. But I can tell you guys right now, I've never been happier in my whole life. It just feels like home here. I'm meant to be in nature. I'm meant to be in the forest. It's beautiful. I'll try to insert pictures. It's really magical. So yes, this isn't gonna be my final filming spot for face-to-face videos like this. I'm in my hallway right now because my spiritual room is still a mess. It's like the only room in the house that still has a lot of boxes that need to be unpacked. So eventually I'll be filming in that room, and I have it painted the color I want, and yeah. All right, so let's talk depth year, things I wanted to do and kind of like how I'm doing on that. All right, so let's talk about picking specific decks to work with each month, deep dive videos. So I am doing that. I have study palmistry on here. I haven't worked or done anything with palmistry yet. One of my goals for February is to either buy a palmistry class somewhere online or take like a free class that I can find on YouTube, or like watch some kind of a video about palmistry. I find that that's the easiest way to learn for me. I do have palmistry books, but I've found that it's a little bit difficult for me to learn palmistry from books. So that is one of my goals for February, is to study palmistry in some way, just at least take one class. I also have Study Lenormand on here. So I did, at the end of 2021, buy this Lenormand deck. It is the Pixies Astounding Lenormand. I bought this because I've been really obsessed with Rider-Waite lately, and we'll get into that in a minute. This deck is really cute. It's kind of like they manipulated Pixie's artwork to look like Lenormand. And I'm sure there are some of them that they didn't have to manipulate too much, and then there's others they probably had to draw to kind of look more like Lenormand cards. I think this deck is super cute, but I just haven't been drawn to Lenormand yet. I've played around with this a little bit. I've read the guidebook a little bit, but it's not something that I really want to dive deep into yet. So I have this. It's one of my depth year plans to learn Lenormand, but I'm just not feeling drawn to it right now. But at least I have the deck so that when I feel called, I can do it. I find that when I force myself to learn something, it just doesn't work out. But if I work with it when I'm called, it'll probably work out a lot better. I have Study Cartomancy on here. Again, that's not something that I've started yet, but it is something that I'm very interested in learning. Do rituals every new and full moon. I have slacked on this a little bit already. The last full moon, I was feeling super overwhelmed and just wasn't feeling well, so I didn't really do anything besides like visualizations and like meditations and stuff like that, but I didn't do like a full-on ritual that I wanted to. This last full moon that was yesterday, I did do like a card reading for myself, a little ritual. So I'm happy with that so far. With all the mayhem of moving and unpacking, everything hasn't been the way that it probably will be the rest of the year. Things will calm down a little bit once I get things a little bit more organized, and I've had to work a little bit more than I wanted to, even though I went on a part-time, I had to go in a few more days than I wanted to because they needed help. So yeah, things will calm down and I'll be able to work on those things a little bit more. Like, along with that, I'll say the journaling part hasn't been the best that I want it to be yet. But again, it's been really hectic this month, and while I did clear off my desk and that area is clean, the rest of my room is just a mess right now, so it doesn't make it inviting to go in there and like journal. So once I get that a little bit more organized, I feel like my journaling will be a lot better. There are a lot of spreads I still need to put in here and like print out and all of that, so I'll probably take time to do that today. That way I can just like make sure it's updated on time. But yes. Okay, so next I have can only buy one deck a month. I feel like I've been doing pretty good with this. I have cheated a little bit. I'm not being too harsh with myself because it is way less than I did last year, and as long as I can work with more decks that I have and purchase a lot less decks, I'm happy with that. I did set a very strict limit for myself, and I feel like I'm going to try to hold on to it as long as I can, you know, for this year. But I did cheat a little bit in January. My January deck is the Sacred Cycles Oracle, and I got this towards the end of January, but this is something I'm going to talk about in a minute that I'm going to incorporate into my practice every single month. So I didn't really get a chance to deep dive into this, but I don't think that'll be a problem because of how often I'm planning on using it. Okay, next up I have Celebrate the Sabbats, and again, this one kind of got away from me. In Bulk was yesterday today, and I haven't celebrated it per se, but I really did research it. I looked up everything about In Bulk that I could, just so that I'm more well prepared for next year. I do need to buy some kind of a book that has information about the Sabbats, maybe get a calendar. I'm going to try to be very well prepared for the next one, and so that the rest of the year I can really embrace and celebrate the Sabbats in full. Next up I have read 15 books. That is for the whole year. So again, this started off a little bit slower than I wanted to, but again, I feel like once things get a little bit more settled, I'll be able to dive into this a little bit more. So one of my goals was to finish the Caraval series. So this I read last year, and I started on the second book, which is Legendary. I did finish this month, so I'm counting this as one of my books, and I'm about halfway through the third one right now. I would consider these a favorite as well. They're so good. These books are so good. I just wish I had a little bit more time to read, and I definitely will. Like I said, when things calm down, I'll have more of a chance to read. So how many books did I read in January? I'll consider it like 1.5. Hopefully February I'll have a bigger list for you guys, but this is really good. This is by Stephanie Garber, so it's all the same series. It's Caraval, and there's 3 books, and I really recommend them. Another book I've been reading, I'm only like a little bit through this one. This is Witchery by Juliette Diaz. I love Juliette Diaz. She is so inspiring to me. So I've been reading this here and there when I want something a little bit more like textbook, a little bit more like learning, you know what I mean? But I find that I have to read these books in small increments. I can't just like fly through these the same way I would like a fantasy novel, you know? Okay, so I've spent more time outside. I definitely feel like I have spent more time outside. It is cold here. It's winter. It's actually snowing right now. I'll insert a clip. It's so magical outside. But on some of the warmer days last month, I really spent some time outside reading. It's absolutely so quiet and beautiful outside, and I can't wait for springtime. I definitely feel like I will spend way more time outside in the spring. And then I have work with my moon cycles. So we're gonna get into the favorites part now. So Sacred Cycles Oracle I bought specifically to work with my moon cycles. It came a little bit late this year for doing that and for that purpose, but I'm going to be incorporating it into my practice every month. This deck is stunning. I did film a video flipping through it. If you're interested, I'll link it in the cards. But this deck is absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to work with this more the rest of the year. So that's my first deck favorite. I'll talk about decks more in a minute, just because this tied into my depth here. I wanted to talk about it. Let's talk favorites for a minute. I have been obsessed with crystals lately, you guys. I've been into crystals about a year or so. I've really studied them and gone into them really hardcore in the last year, and moving into my new home, I wanted crystals everywhere. I have them in the windowsills, I have them on my nightstand, I have them on the coffee table, I have them on display. I have this huge selenite. Oh my, I'm obsessed with selenite. I always have been, but I've just been like extra obsessed lately. I have this huge piece that I have sitting in my living room. I'll insert a picture, and oh my gosh, I really want to invest more in like statement pieces this year, like big crystals. I have so many little crystals, you know, that I can carry around with me, but I want to invest in some more like really huge pieces. I just love the way they, like, the energy they bring into a room. I have my really cool Buddha over here that I love, and I have this selenite sphere. I actually took this out of inventory for my shop because it fits so perfect in the Buddha's hands right here, and it's stunning. I'm obsessed. The selenite, give me all the selenite. I love it. So another favorite, I guess, this month is just like decorating my home, making it cozy, making it the way I want it to be. Candles, I love candles. I've been finding really huge ones at Marshall. I love how huge they are, so that's been a favorite of mine. Salt lamps have been another favorite of mine. I want them like in every single room of the house. I have 2 like regular normal salt lamps, and then I have like battery operated ones, which those ones are annoying. To be honest, I want some more plug-in ones. I think I'm gonna buy like a selenite lamp next. I'm really excited for that. But once I get my home like pretty much close to finished, I'll do a house tour, and I really do want salt lamps in like every room of the house. I love the ambiance they give. I love them. That's another favorite. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's get into decks now. I have decks that I worked with in January that I really love, and then I'm going to talk about some decks I want to work with in February so that we can check in at the end of February and just see how that went. So I want to talk about this one first. This is the Earth Wisdom Oracle, and the reason I want to talk about this is because this is what I use for my year ahead spread for 2022. I used this along with the Smith-Waite Tarot deck. I absolutely loved these paired together. This deck is beautiful. There's only 36 cards, I believe. 32 cards. There's only 32 cards in here, so with pulling one for every month of the year, you get through a lot of the deck. But this deck is gorgeous. It's Celtic, it's earthy, it's just magical, it's witchy. And I really wanted something like this to go with my year ahead spread so that I could focus on each card for the month. So for the month of January, I pulled the card Healing Grief, and I'll insert a picture. I still have it up on my desk right now, and I need to change it out with February's, but Healing Grief, and I want to do like a little reflection here as to why I think that came up for me for January. And the tarot card I got was Judgment. So as far as Healing Grief goes, I think that was talking about me moving homes. The last place that my husband and I lived, we lived for 4.5 years, and that was the longest I had ever lived in one house growing up. I can't recall another home I lived in for longer than 4.5 years my whole life, and it was really hard to leave. Even though I was moving into some place that I owned, some place I could make my own, and I was essentially moving into my dream house, leaving that did give me a huge sense of loss. I was feeling kind of homesick even the first few weeks here. I mean, even just thinking about it, it does make me sad. It does give me this feeling of grief to leave that place, right? And this month has also been very healing for me just in general. The past few years for me just haven't been very good at all. And being here in this nature, it's so healing, and being in my home that I own is just, it's so healing for me, and it's healing all of this hurt and all this depression and all these things that I've had so prominent in my life for the past few years. And so that card for me was 100% spot on. And then as far as my tarot card for January was Judgment, and I think that that was, again, 100% spot on. Judgment is all about like a rebirth, a renewal, and my life has 1,000,000% changed from what it was a month ago. Everything has changed. My job has changed, where I live has changed, my happiness has changed. Everything is just completely transformed. And so the Judgment card was, again, spot on. So I'm going to talk about my cards for the month in each of these videos, and then at the end of the year I just want to make a whole video just kind of talking strictly on that. But this deck is beautiful. For February I got Divine Love. Let's see if I can find it. So this is my card for the February month, which I think is perfect. I mean, love, February, Valentine's Day. I'm all about Valentine's Day this year. But yeah, this deck is, I'm gonna change. What I do is I put this card on my altar so that I can reflect it all month long. And the imagery is gorgeous. It's kind of shiny. But they just have keywords. So there's like creativity, awareness, divine protection. So it's really expansive in that way. You can get a lot out of just like a single keyword or phrase. And I think this was the perfect deck to use so that I could really dive deep with it this year. I love the guidebook. The guidebook, so this is a Lo Scarabeo deck. So the guidebook doesn't have a lot in English, but it's funny, I just opened to the Healing Grief page. But for each card, you get a herb and you get a crystal. And so it really helps you learn. So I'm going to write, so for January, I got Spiderwort and Lepidolite. And so I really like embodied the Lepidolite this year. I have Lepidolite and I love it. And I'm going to do some research on Spiderwort and add it to my herb grimoire that I have, just so that I can learn more about it. And I love that. And then it has a really small little blurb that gets so to the point, and it has like a little mantra or affirmation to say at the end. So this guidebook, while it is small, you get everything you need, and it's so good. I love it. It gives you more than just a card for the month. It gives you a crystal and it gives you an herb, and that's all the witchiness I need. I love it. And so for next month, Divine Love, I have the rose and I have rose quartz. Perfect for Valentine's Day. I didn't even know that that was that until I looked at it. So I'm going to embody the rose and the rose quartz this month. I'm going to have that be my herb and my crystal for the month. I love that. I love that you can work with this deck like that. So this is definitely a favorite. You'll probably hear me talk about it every month in these reflections, just because it is my, just because of how I used it. Okay, so next favorite I want to talk about is the Smith-Waite Borderless Edition Centennial. Oh my god. Guys, this deck is like one of my all-time favorites. If somebody said you need to get rid of all your tarot decks and you can only have one, this would be it. I got this at the very end of December, and this is like the only deck I wanted to play with. I wanted to pick up for a few weeks. It is everything. I mean, it's a normal Rider-Waite, but like, I am in love. I'm gonna make a video all about Rider-Waite because of my experience with my first deck, which really put me off of the Rider-Waite decks, like the traditional ones, and then falling in love with it. Like this past month and a half, I've done a bunch of research on Rider-Waite, Pamela Coleman Smith, and this deck is everything. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. It was like an instant bond. The first card I actually pulled was this one when I said, how is our relationship going to be? Magic. Pure magic. I love it. And so that, like I said, I got Judgment from this deck for, guys, hold on a minute. I got Judgment for January, and I got Ace of Pentacles for February. I didn't even mean to do that. It was just the next card. This deck, oh, I'm obsessed. So yes, I got Ace of Pentacles for February, which I think is a really fun card to have for February, new financial opportunities potentially, but I'll update you guys at the end of February to see how this related to my month. I can't get enough. So I loved this deck so much. I cheated and I bought Smith-Waite Centennial in a tin. I was throwing this in my purse just because I wanted it with me everywhere. I wanted to take it with me everywhere, and the box was getting really beaten up just being in my purse. So I decided to get the one in the tin so that I can throw it in my purse and have it with me everywhere. This one is slightly different because it's not the borderless. But I'm thinking of buying the regular Centennial as well that has the border in the full size. But this one's so cute and mini. I love it. I love that if somebody wants a reading, I can literally just pull it out of my purse and have it right there, and it's small, and you can do readings in like tighter spaces, you know. All-time favorites. I'm obsessed with these, you guys. I found a really cool like tarot case online that I'm probably gonna buy for this one so that I can still bring it with me, because this, I'm bonded to this one. This one's really cute and everything, but this is like #1 tarot deck right here. Okay, next favorite I have is the Illuminators Amulet. This is by Threads of Fate, and they have a new deck out. Oh my gosh, I'm so tempted. It's gorgeous. It's called the Empyrean, I think, and I'm really tempted to get that one. We'll see. But this one's really cool because it's a playing card size. I also have a video on this one. And I'm kind of pissed off because my dog chewed this one a little bit. It chewed the box, and then it chewed some of the cards. Oh my gosh, so depressing. But it still works great. You can't really even tell. But this deck is gorgeous. It's holographic, and it has like magic 8-ball responses to things. And you get 44 cards, I think. But I really had a fun time with this. I feel like it has a really sassy energy to it. But I'm just glad I have it. It feels very like divinatory to me, very like fortune tellery, and I love it. I think this is out of stock right now on their website, but it is something that they will be restocking. So just keep an eye out if you're interested in this. Okay, next favorite I have is the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck. I've had this for months now, and I've never really played with it. If you heard in my depth year video, astrology wasn't something I planned on studying in-depth mastering this year, but it might be something that I end up doing because I'm feeling super drawn to astrology lately. I feel like I learn astrology the best through just like working with astrology decks or just like learning things here and there. So this deck super surprised me. I'm probably going to deep dive and read the guidebook next month because it is gorgeous. So for some reason I thought this deck you needed to read the book to work with it, but that is not the case. It has like little keywords at the bottom there, so you can use this in just a regular reading, and it surprised me. I used it in a pick a card reading here on my channel, which I'll link for you guys. It was so scarily accurate. I have a card up on my desk right now that I pulled for the new moon, and the card that came up, again, scarily accurate with the reading that came out. This is like, I can just see myself using this all year. It's stunning. It's beautiful. So this was definitely a surprise favorite for January, and I only used it like a few times, but oh my gosh. Gorgeous. And this is just like the smaller little deck that it comes in. It comes in a like huge box. So you get 2 boxes and like the big book. So I'm probably going to read the big book this month. We'll see. Okay, next favorite. Holy crap. This deck is so good. This is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. And I originally bought this because I wasn't connecting to my first Rider-Waite deck, and I thought Rider-Waite decks weren't for me. And this was like an alternative. So it has pretty much the same artwork, but it's Golden Art Nouveau style. It's like a Rider-Waite clone, and it's gorgeous. It has these gold accents on it, and it's cool. It's like thinner than a normal tarot deck, but this deck, holy crap, I've been using it this month. This reads like a dream. This has been a favorite of mine all month. It just is super clear and accurate. And that's what I find with all kind of like Rider-Waite decks for me. I just feel like I can read them like that. Now that I have my Centennial, the Rider-Waite is just coming to me. Oh my gosh, this deck is stunning. I've always thought it was beautiful, but reading with it this month, it is such a good reader. So I'm excited to work with this deck more. It's so good. The last up favorite for the month is the Revival Art Tarot cards. And so this is going to be a favorite slash we're going to segue into what I want to work with for February. So this deck was a Christmas gift from my husband, but it didn't come until like the first week of January. Oh my gosh, I love this. The cardstock's really nice. It's by Taroko Studios. It has big, thick, matte cardstock, and basically this is just like they compile together art pieces that are already paintings and things to create a tarot deck. So these are, I can't think of the word, but these are already made art pieces that they compile together to make a tarot deck. And I love this style of like Renaissance type, pre-Raphaelite, I think is the word, paintings. They're stunning. And I really love this deck. I used it for my husband's year ahead spread. It's really beautiful. I did an interview spread with it and bonded with it instantly. But this is a deck that I really want to work with in February because it feels very romantic to me. It feels very like Valentine's Day, love, romance. And I am feeling the Valentine's Day vibes this year, you guys. I am so like the pinks. I'm just like the rose quartz, the love, the self-love. Like that's what I'm sorry if you see my dogs, but the self-love, like I'm just feeling all of the Valentine's vibes this month. February, like I'm just super pumped for February for some reason. So I'll probably be using these in my Valentine's Day themed readings this month. I have them available in my Etsy shop if you're interested. And my Valentine's Day readings can be for romantic love, or they can be for self-love, family love, whatever it is. Just if you just indicate that in the order, I will cater to you. I love it. It feels romantic and beautiful, and so I'm excited to work with this all through February. Next up, like I said, I think I really want to deep dive into this for February. I think I'm going to read the book on this, study a little bit, and the pastels, the pinks and purples. I think it's really perfect for Valentine's Day as well. Next up, I have the Romance Angels. This is like a knockoff deck of a Doreen Virtue deck, and this is all about love. So I want to work with this month. I haven't really worked with it. It's a little bit like cheesy, but I think that's okay for Valentine's Day, February. Like I said, I'm feeling like all the pinks, so I really want to try to work with this deck a little bit more this month. You know, like if you don't work with it in February, when are you working with it? So I think it's really cute. I love the artwork on it. Yeah, this is something I'm going to try to work with in February. Okay, along that same vein, another one I want to work with in February is the Sacred Self-Care Oracle. Again, the self-love, I'm feeling all that this month. And this deck, holy crap, I've had it for a while and I have loved it, but I just haven't used it as much as I wanted to. And getting the Sacred Cycles has made me really want to work with this more. I mean, look at the purples. So pretty for Valentine's Day. And love vibes. But I really want to incorporate this into some monthly readings for myself. And I'm probably going to do like maybe a daily card every day on my Instagram or something with this deck, because I'm just feeling really pulled towards like self-care and self-love stuff. But this deck is stunning. It has a lot of interesting cards in here that you don't necessarily think of when you think of like self-care, which I like. So yeah, excited to use that one. Okay, next up we have Liminal Spirits Oracle. I want to work with this in February for a very specific reason. So if you guys don't know, this channel was primarily about paranormal, ghost hunting, things like that before I kind of switched into the spiritual realm. And while making the switch, I definitely still want to do paranormal videos. And moving into this new home, I have had an insane amount of paranormal experiences in the first month living here, and I'm going to make a video about it. But living here in this forest, it feels like a liminal space. And what that means is like an in-between between earth and the spirit realm. It's like the in-between, liminal. And that is what this deck is about. It's beautiful. I love this deck. The thing about this deck though is it doesn't have keywords. It just has a beautiful painting and the word. And so I want to read this guidebook in full this month. I'm just inspired to with all these like paranormal, ghostly, spirit kind of things happening to me this month. I'm called to this deck. So I want to really study it, try to memorize as much as I can of this deck, study it, learn it, so that I can read it without the guidebook. Just because it's a little bit hard with the no keywords, but I absolutely love this deck. I adore it, and I really want to dive deep into it this month. They're literally called Witches Spirit cards. I need that. I need that. Okay, last but not least, I have my deck for February that I purchased to work with in February, and I got the Usi Pagan Otherworlds Tarot deck. This is something I went really back and forth on. Like, I decided like a while ago, I was like, I'm not gonna get that anytime soon. It doesn't call to me. But holy crap, like I just was like pulled to order this deck for some reason, and it is stunning. It's luxurious. The box is beautiful. I used it in my new moon spread yesterday, and oh my gosh, these cards are stunning. The reason that I was kind of like on the fence with this one is because it's a pip deck. And it comes with these beautiful moon cards, and I have the new moon card up on my desk right now for the new moon. And that's how I'm going to use these. I'm going to use these in my practice for my moon spread kind of rituals and things. So I love that it came with those. But yeah, these are pip cards for the minors, but it's so easy for me to read these so far. They have like just enough in the artwork that you can get the meaning out of it. It's very like Rider Waite. This is the Four of Swords, right? But you get that feeling of like rest. You have that one sword laying on the ground. And obviously the quartz and the majors are beautiful. This is the Five of Cups. I can get that Five of Cups feeling out of it. I think what pushed me to get this is that I'm going to probably be getting rid of my Tattoo Tarot, which is a pip deck, and I just can't connect with that. It's more of a Marseille style, not really traditional, but the pips in that one I just can't connect with. But this one, it's so aesthetically pleasing. I also got this just to be aesthetic on Instagram and stuff like that, but oh my gosh, this is a stunning deck. Like, you see it online, it's pretty, but when you have it in your hands, it's just a whole different vibe. It shuffles like a dream. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be using this a lot in February, deep diving with it. Guys, so that was my January favorites, reflections, talking about my depth year, all of that. I would love to hear what your favorites were in January. I'm I'm just super optimistic about this year and happy. I apologize if the video quality isn't the best. I was trying to find the best place to film while stuff is mayhem right now. So I hope it wasn't too annoying with my dogs and stuff in the background. But yeah, I hope you guys have a magical, loving, beautiful February, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!